Welcome to Intro to Drawing. Our first lesson is on isometric perspective. We're going to use an isometric grid, which looks like this. And we're going to lay thin paper on top so we can see the grid through the paper and use it to create our drawings. The first thing I want you to notice about these grids is that from any point on the grid, any intersection, like this one, there are only 6 different directions that you can move. And we're going to try to use the same language to describe those 6 directions. This direction we're going to call straight up. This direction we're going to call straight down. This is up left. This is up right. This is down left. And this is down right. If we all use the same words for the directions, we'll be able to communicate more easily about what we're doing. We're also only going to be drawing objects like this that are deliberately constructed to have dimensions in whole units. So this for example is a 2x2 cube. And because we are limited to whole units and only 6 different directions, these drawings are very simple. I'm going to teach you 2 ways to approach them. Probably the simplest way involves using a starting point. So for this type of drawing, we always have to arrange the object so we're looking down on it like this. And so we have a leading edge coming directly towards us like that. And if you're at home, you can draw along with me. We're going to make a starting point somewhere near the bottom of the page, like this would work right here. And that starting point is going to represent this corner. It's the bottom of the leading edge. And then if you just keep it at the correct angle, you're just going to try to talk to yourself using those directions I just taught you. So we're going to say this direction is moving from this point up left, and it's moving 2 units. So we're going to go from there to there. Count 1, 2. And this direction is up right 2 units. And this direction is straight up 2 units. And that's all that happens from our starting point. There's no other lines that originate at this point. But we've created 3 new points. So if we look at this one, the only thing that happens from here is an edge that goes straight up, also 2 units. And the same thing happens over here, straight up 2 units. From this point, which is here, we have one going up left until it hits that line, and one going up right until it hits that line. And from our final 2 intersections, which are here and here, we have edges that are going up left and up right. And that is a scale drawing of this cube in isometric perspective. In fact, it's the only drawing you can make of this cube in isometric perspective. We're going to do one more drawing of the cube, but I'm going to show you a different way to do it. If you think about what we're going to call the footprint of this cube, which is where it hits the ground, and I can trace it. And this footprint is 2 units by 2 units also. So a different way to draw the same drawing is to begin by drawing the footprint. And the key here is anytime we're drawing a footprint, we do not allow ourselves to make any vertical lines. So we just count 2 along any slope, and then we double back 2, and we come around 2, and all we've done is we've made a 2 by 2 shape while avoiding vertical lines. And I think you can imagine that this could be the top of the object, but it could also be where the object hits the ground. And if we conceptualize this to be where the object hits the ground, then finishing the drawing is just a matter of drawing the edges straight up, straight up 2, straight up 2, and I can even go lightly from that back corner. It's kind of like building it. See, there's where it hits the ground. These are the 4 corners, and then if we just connect the 4 corners, that's where the top's going to be. And we end up with the same thing. The difference is there's possibly a little more erasing that we might need to do. So I'm going to draw one slightly more complex shape. This one has uneven edges, and it does, however, have no slopes or curves. So it's still what I'm going to call a level 1 shape, because all the angles are 90 degrees and all the units are whole units. And that means we can draw this shape just like a cube without creating any lines that aren't already part of our grid. So let's see if I have room for it down here. If I make my starting point right here, and I go, gotta orient this so I'm looking slightly down on it like that, and with the corner coming towards me like that. And I can see that this is going to be up left 2. This is going to be straight up 3. And from this point we also have up right 3. From this corner we go straight up 1, and while we're here, notice that we're also going to go down right 1, then straight up 2, and then down right 1 again. Now we go over to the back edge here. This is straight up 3. These 2 edges connect. From this corner we go up left 1. From this corner we go down left 3. And from this corner here we go up right 3. However, notice that this edge is overlapped by this one. So we don't see all 3 units here, we're only going to see 1 unit. Like that. The rest of it is behind there. So that was using the starting point method. I also could have used the footprint method and drawn the footprint first, then drawn this side, then drawn the other side like that, and connected them. Both methods work. When you get into really complex shapes, the footprint method is probably a good thing to get used to using. Before you start working, I just want to mention a couple things about procedure here. You'll notice that I have not been connecting dots by sketching my way to them like this. This is what a lot of my students seem to want to do. You see the difference? Let me show you another one. Some people like to draw like this. Okay, what I'm going to ask you to do instead looks like this. See, I missed. Try again. Better. Now, why don't we want to do this? One of the benefits of doing this type of drawing is improving your coordination in a way that's very similar to target practice with a bow and arrow. If you are doing target practice and you're picking up the arrow and walking it over the target like this and then sticking it in, very convenient because you can never miss your target. You're going to hit it every time. However, you're also not going to get any better at shooting arrows, right? Because you're not challenging yourself. Anytime you figure out a way to do something that has no possibility of failure, also has no possibility of success. Excuse me. So by challenging yourself to always aim for those distant targets and go after them with just one smooth line, your drawings might look a little messier at first, but you will gradually improve at something, and that's what we're here to do. The other thing I want to tell you is that you'll notice that I did not use a ruler when I was drawing these shapes to measure the dimensions. I could have used a ruler. There's no rule against using rulers. However, another thing we're trying to learn how to get better at is estimating distances. So if I know that this thing is made out of whole units of inches, it's pretty obvious that this is 1 inch, right? And certainly not 2 inches. It can't be less than 1 inch. So if this is 1 inch, we know this is also 1 inch. You don't have to be a genius to see that this must be 2 inches. And you can easily see that this distance is the same as this one. So that means this must be 3 inches. On some of the harder shapes, you might want to measure some things. However, on a lot of them you won't have to, and I want you to get used to always try to estimate the distance before you get out the ruler and measure it, because then you're going to get better at estimating size. And if you can estimate size and angle, you can draw. That's all drawing is. We're intentionally keeping the task very simple for now, but it'll get harder as we move on. So with the skills I just taught you, you should be able to draw any of the shapes that we have that are 90-degree angles only. Please avoid the ones that have the slopes and the curves for now, but go ahead and challenge yourself with increasingly difficult 90-degree simple shapes. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.